decided to do another video about paper beads, but this one is not the next one in the order. It's just a bonus video. So I wanted to show you about how to make what I call barrel beads. And so I actually, when I was in China, was able to buy these strips of paper already cut. And so I already have quite a few of these. And but you could cut these yourself. Just instead of going on the triangle, just measure. This one I think is more than a ½ inch. This looks like about 3/4 of an inch. And so you decide how big of a bead you want, and then just make your marks that size and cut them out. And it might even be easier to cut them with the cutter when you cut them because they're straight. For me, the triangular shapes are a little bit harder to cut. And so I'm going to just do what I did before, only I'm going to show you one extra thing that I do with the barrel beads. So first, I'm just going to start rolling. I'm going to roll this guy. This should end up being a little bit thicker than the triangular beads we've been making because this paper's longer. The length of your paper and the thickness of your paper affect the width of the bead. I think this is kind of pretty, this silver. And I don't know if I will like these in a necklace, but I'm going to try it anyway. Because I bought them, I got to use them now. I'll give them away. Let somebody else wear it. No, I'll see how it turns out. Actually, I don't think there's even one necklace that I've given away that I didn't like. So I'm going to just do the same as you did with the other beads. Glue the end. These are a little bit easier, and I'll show you why. So on these, if it's a little bit off, you can just squish it till it's even. I'm going to hold it for a second because with this much paper, it doesn't glue as easily. It might even be easier to use hot glue on these barrel beads. Okay. Oh, no, still not glued. Maybe I didn't use enough glue because this is quite thick paper and it's got a lot of paper rolled up in there. Now, what I used this time to roll it was a skewer. You can see I broke off the tips because I didn't want the point poking me. And also it was too long. So I actually ended up with 2. These are a little bit bigger, the diameter is bigger than a toothpick, but I don't think that's bad. It's okay for making a necklace. Okay, so now I'm going to show you. Whoa. You know what? I'm going to undo this and put more glue. I just don't think it's going to stick. I didn't have enough glue. I'm going to put a little bit further down too. A little thicker, a little further down. Okay. That's the nice thing about the barrel beads is you can always just flatten it with your thumb and forefinger to make sure that it's even. The other ones you have to kind of manipulate the center a little bit. Okay, so let me show you the next part. Okay, so I'm going to glaze it just like I did with the other ones using Mod Podge. The Brilliant High Gloss. Whoa, this had a lot of water in my brush, I guess. Looks like I'm missing some spots. Yeah, last time I did this, it seemed like the Mod Podge caused the this kind of metallic kind of paper to curl a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put him in here. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to use one of these pretty colors just to see what they look like and see how they act, see how the paper acts. Because I did have a little bit of struggle with the one bracelet or the one necklace I made like that. And look at the cute packaging. Isn't that cute? I think I'll go for the blue. I think that the Chinese kids use this for origami. Not really sure. Okay. Yeah, this paper is much different. It's a little bit thinner than that other paper. Whoops, I think I got two. Wow. If I did, then it's really, no, that's one. Okay. While waiting for that to dry, I'll make one of these. This one's a little bit smaller. I think it's a 1/2 inch. That one was 3/4 inch. So these won't be the same necklace. Okay, so this you don't have to be quite as careful with because you can fix it when you're done by just pressing on the ends like I showed you. Roll, roll, roll. Okay, glue. Oh, forgot for a second what I was using. Okay, so there we go. Now we'll just make it flat. That's the only problem with these. They take a little bit longer because you have to hold it to make sure that it stays glued. I guess you kind of do with the other ones too, but it seems like this one takes a little bit more. And it's going to be pretty though. Get a little closer. This light's not the best. Too much light. Let me see. Well, I might close the curtain and then we can see better. Okay, so this one, oh, it's not dry. Okay, I won't make you wait. I'll stop this for a second and then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm going to glaze this blue one. I'm not getting enough stuff on my brush. These I think take a little more glaze because they're a little bit bigger, but that's okay. Okay, so this one I think is pretty good. Oh, I guess I could show the camera. I'm still trying to figure this stuff out, all of this filming out. Okay, I'm going to let this one dry. And then I'll come back in a minute and show you what we do next. So last time I made these, I must have been a lot more patient because I'm having a heck of a time getting these to glue properly. Let's see if I can show you. See how it's come open? And I put a lot of glue, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my glue gun as soon as it heats up because I just can't, I've put as much glue as I think I can and it's still not staying shut. Probably because of the weight of the paper. So I'm going to try the glue gun. I think it'll work. And then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Let's see, is it hot yet? Oh. Okay, so that'll do ya. A little bit of hot glue. Didn't do it right to the edge, and so my edge is still coming up a little bit. Let me go a little bit more. Try not to burn myself. Okay, that worked pretty good. But in the process, I think I've gotten all of the glaze off, so now I gotta reglaze it. That's pretty good. Let me do this one too. This one's not too bad. I'm using this other piece of wood to try to smear it a little bit. There we go, so I don't burn myself. Okay, that worked pretty good. And I've got one more here. Let's see if I can do this one too. Yeah, that other glue is just not working today for some reason. Got too much on. I'll use this to flatten it down so I don't burn myself. That worked pretty good. Okay, now I'll show you what we're going to do next. I'll explain it to you and then I'll show you. So, after we have glazed our beads twice, then we're going to take the bead and we're going to, I have this embossing ink. It's clear, so it doesn't have any color to it. I'm going to dab the end. Then I'm going to stick it in this silver embossing powder. And then I have a new glue gun, and actually I noticed that I laid it down on a plastic tablecloth that I had on one of my work tables, and it must have melted because I've got some cotton from inside the anyway, so, and it's got plastic on it. This one I got at the hardware store on sale, and I liked it because it had a little bit a narrower this part nozzle than the one that I had. The one that I had, I've had for maybe 20 years, a long time, and it was starting to kind of sound funny, like I think it's starting to go out on me. So I decided to get a new one. So I got this for Christmas actually. And another thing I like about this one is that it there's a stand for it, but I don't have it here. And so anyway, this is a pretty good one. It has two, not plugged in yet. It has two settings, so it's pretty good. So as soon as I dip this in the embossing powder, then I'm going to put it on the stick so I don't burn myself. And I will heat the embossing powder to seal the ends. I just think it makes them a little bit more finished looking, makes them a little prettier. So I'll show you that as I do it. Okay, so after all of that hot gluing, I realized the hot gluing is not working. So don't use hot glue. But I went back to the regular glue and it's working better. As a matter of fact, it wasn't sealing on the edge, and I was kind of playing with it, pushing it down, and then all of a sudden I realized it was totally undone, and I was able to just pick off the hot glue. So don't use hot glue. Stick with the, I might try like a Elmer's glue, like a white glue, instead of this clear glue. But I just barely used the clear glue and it sealed. Some of these I need to redo because there's a gap at the opening. Anyway, so this one's finally done. Now, let me do what I told you we would do. So I'm going to use, this is what I have, but you could use a stamp pad. Use clear, unless you use the color that you want. So if you want it to be a different color, you could use a colored stamp pad. I want it clear because I'm using silver embossing powder. So I'm just going to kind of go like this on the end. Make sure it's nice and sticky because I want it to really stick. Then, I'm going to use my fingers and just take it off and coat it like that. Now I'll put it back on the toothpick, and let's see how this, if I can do this without burning myself, because I changed to the smaller. Yikes. And that worked. I need to put the stand on this because this can even like stand like this, I think. I can't remember what I saw on the package. Let's see. I don't want melting something else. Okay, so if you can see, that made a really nice seal to the end, and it did not seal the hole. It just made it kind of a finished end on it. So now let me do the other side. Dab, dab, dab. Some people are probably thinking, why do you go to all this effort? I don't know, it's kind of fun. And I like the way they turn out. That's the thing. I really enjoy the necklaces. Okay, so back into the powder we go. And I'm going to turn this around. Try not to burn myself with the embossing gun, heat gun. That one worked much faster. Whoops, I got too much light coming in through my, let me see if I can block the light a little. Can you see how that made a nice seal on both ends? So this bead is finished. And so I only have this many more to go. However many more papers that is of the silver. And I got looking at these blue ones and I feel a little gypped because there was a piece of cardboard in between the layers of papers. So I actually only have 3 blue papers. That kind of bugs me. Well, that was not a very good buy. But anyway, I'll figure something out. I'll use them somehow. And I have 2 packages of those, so I'll figure out. Anyway, so that's how what I wanted to show you, how to make these barrel beads. And it's pretty, the silver one. And you can see how when you mix this with some other kinds of beads that it could turn out really nice. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. That's another piece of my mind. And like I said before, I probably should have titled this vlog, instead of a piece of my mind, I should have titled it, But I Digress, because my mind goes in 50 million directions. But anyway, so that's today's video. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, leave them below. And if you, or comments, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll subscribe and ring the little bell so that you can get notified if I have new videos. Thanks for watching.